The refrigerator door was open. That's what she noticed first. Then the sound. Drip, drip, drip. Anna turned slowly, the floor cold beneath her bare feet. The lights were flickering, just barely, as if something was wrong with the power. But the storm outside had passed hours ago. She looked down. There, in front of the sink, was a pool of something thick, dark, and unmistakably red. She didn't scream. Not yet. Her body went cold, her breath shallow. Then she saw it. A handprint. Bloody. Dragged along the side of the white kitchen cabinet. Like someone had tried to hold on. And next to it, a note. Written in block letters. Don't look for him. He's mine now. The handwriting wasn't Jason's. She was sure of it. And then, the lights went out. Anna froze. Everything was pitch black. She heard something upstairs. A creak, slow and deliberate. Not from the wind. Someone was walking. She grabbed the knife from the kitchen drawer without thinking, holding it close to her chest like it could protect her from whatever nightmare was unraveling in her home. She moved up the stairs quietly, each step feeling like she was sinking into ice. Her body was trembling, but her mind was racing. Jason was supposed to be at work. But his phone had been found shattered and bloodstained 2 miles away, next to an abandoned cabin near the woods. She hadn't told anyone yet, because something told her. If she did, they'd blame her. The hallway upstairs was freezing. Windows were closed, but she could see her own breath. That's when she noticed the door to the guest room was slightly open. Jason never used it. They never went in there. Anna pushed it open and stopped breathing. Someone had drawn something on the walls. Not paint. Blood. Dozens of words, phrases, names, hers, Jason's, Marcus's, all in red, scrawled like a madman's diary. And in the center of the wall, smeared large and crooked, "He was never yours." Suddenly, her phone buzzed. Unknown number, 1 message, check the basement. Her heart dropped. They didn't have a basement. At least, she thought they didn't. But behind the coat closet near the laundry room, where the smell had started 2 days ago, was a narrow wooden door. She'd always assumed it led to old pipes or storage. Tonight, she opened it. The stairs creaked as she descended. The air smelled of metal and rot, like something dead had been lying in the dark for too long. There were no windows, no lights, only the sound of her breath and something else. When she reached the bottom, her foot slipped. Something wet. She turned on her phone flashlight and dropped it. In the middle of the floor was Jason's shirt, ripped, soaked in blood, nailed. To the concrete was a photo. It was a picture of her, sleeping, taken from the side of the bed. Someone had been in their room, watching her. She staggered back, panic overtaking her, when suddenly the phone buzzed again. This time a call, same unknown number. She answered. No voice, only a sound. A whimper. Like someone gagged, hurt, trying to speak. Then another voice came through, a low, gravelly whisper. The call cut. Her flashlight flickered and died. Anna ran. She didn't stop until she was back in her car, heart racing so hard it felt like it might break through her chest. She didn't go to the police. She went to Marcus. He opened the door, half asleep, half drunk, wearing the same army jacket he wore the day Jason disappeared. I know what you did, Anna whispered, her voice like broken glass. Marcus blinked. What I did? You think I... But behind him, on the coffee table, she saw it, a necklace, Jason's, blood-stained, and worse, her wedding photo. She took 1 step back, Then Marcus said something that chilled her deeper than the basement. He screamed your name, Anna. Over and over. Just like I said he would. She stared at him, her legs about to collapse. Then he whispered, "But it's not your name anymore," and slammed the door shut. That night, Anna didn't sleep. She watched the windows, every corner, every shadow. And just before dawn, she saw it. Jason, standing in the woods behind the house. Barefoot, covered in mud, and smiling. Jason, or whoever that thing was, stood half hidden behind the trees, his face pale in the moonlight. Anna couldn't breathe. Her limbs refused to respond. He looked like her husband. But something was wrong. He was barefoot, skin streaked with dried blood and soil. His head was tilted slightly, like he was observing her, studying her. The way a predator studies its prey before pouncing. She blinked. He was gone. Anna stumbled back from the window, crashing into the coffee table. The glass shattered beneath her palms. Her heartbeat was so loud she couldn't hear anything else. She tried calling his name. Jason? Silence. Then, somewhere in the distance, near the tree line, she heard it. A whistle. Soft. Slow. The tune Jason used to hum when he was nervous. But this wasn't nervous. It was mocking. She didn't sleep that night. The next morning, she drove to the abandoned cabin near the park, where Jason's phone had been found. Police had already swept it, or so they claimed. But something told Anna they hadn't seen what she would. The cabin was even more disturbing in daylight. Its wood was rotting, the roof sagging like an old corpse. The door creaked open with a gentle push. The air inside smelled of mildew, old blood, and something worse, regret. Anna stepped inside. The floorboards groaned under her weight. Shafts of light pierced through the cracked walls. Dust hung like ghosts in the air. Then she saw the chains. Heavy, rusted, and bolted into the concrete floor. One of them still had a torn piece of shirt attached. Jason's shirt. The wall next to it was carved with words. Not written. Carved. Tell her the truth. She lied first. She belonged to me. Anna's stomach turned. That's when she noticed the mattress in the corner, soaked in something dark, still wet. And beneath it, a box. Inside it, a recording device. She pressed play. Jason's voice came through, ragged and terrified. If anyone finds this, I'm not dead. Not yet. But they want me to be. They want her to think I'm gone. They want her to believe I was the monster. The tape cracked, then continued. Marcus said she lied, that she wasn't who I thought. He said she killed her first fiancé, that it was covered up, paid off. But I didn't believe him, until I saw the file. Anna dropped the recorder. Her blood went cold. What file? She whispered. She drove straight to her late father's law office. He had been a powerful criminal attorney, one who made secrets vanish for a living. His files were stored in a private safe, untouched for years. She used the override code. Inside was a sealed envelope. Her name was written on it. Hands shaking, she opened it. Inside was a file labeled Cameron Holt, Accidental Death, Closed. Cameron had been her fiancé 10 years ago. Died in a boating accident. Anna remembered the way people looked at her then. The whispers. The rumors. She had always said it was an accident. But inside the file were photos. Crime scene photos. Bruises around his neck. He had been strangled. Anna gasped. A note was paperclipped to the back, sealed under court order. Do not release unless requested by immediate family. Client. Marcus Hale. Marcus. Why would he have this? Unless... Suddenly, it all clicked. Jason had found out. Marcus had shown him this file to break her, to turn him against her. But it was deeper than that. This wasn't just about a missing husband anymore. This was revenge. Not Jason's. Marcus's. Anna returned home, her mind spiraling. She kept seeing Jason's face in the woods. Not angry. Not afraid. That night, she received a package on the doorstep. No return address. Inside was a USB stick and a single key. She inserted the USB into her laptop. A video played. Jason again, tied to a chair, breathing hard, blood down his temple. Marcus was behind him, smiling. "You want to know the truth, Anna?" Marcus said to the camera. "You want to know what he screamed when I showed him the photos?" He leaned down, mouth to Jason's ear. "He screamed your name like it was a curse. Like he finally saw you for what you are." Then Jason looked directly into the camera, face contorted in pain. "Why didn't you tell me, Anna? About Cameron? About the cover-up? I loved you, and now I don't even know who you are." The screen went black. Then a final message in white letters. "Come alone. Bring the key or you'll never see him again." An address followed, deep in the woods, near an old mental institution that had burned down decades ago. Anna didn't hesitate. She packed the key, a flashlight, and a hidden pocket knife, and drove. The forest was darker than night itself. The air was thick with fog. Trees groaned. Every step on the wet leaves sounded like footsteps behind her. She found the building, or what was left of it. Collapsed walls, rusted beds, chains hanging like vines. She followed the sound, not crying, not screaming, humming, that same tune. Jason's. She stepped into the main room and froze. Jason was there, chained, head down, shirtless, scarred. He looked up, eyes wide, mouth stitched shut, literally sewn closed. Tears poured down his face. And from the shadows behind him, Marcus stepped forward, holding a scalpel, his eyes alight with a madness Anna had never seen before. "I gave him a choice, Anna. You or the truth. He chose the truth. And look what it did to him." She raised the knife. He laughed. "You think this is about you? This was never about you. It was about fixing him. The truth broke him, just like you did." He lunged. She swung. The knife plunged into his side. He staggered back, stunned, then smiled, blood gushing from his mouth. "Now you've done it." He collapsed. Jason screamed behind the stitches. Anna rushed forward, tearing at the threads, with her knife until he gasped for air. His first word, "Run." Behind them, something moved. Not Marcus, not human. Jason grabbed her hand. "We have to go," he said, eyes wide with fear. "That's not him anymore. That's not him anymore." Jason's hand gripped hers like a vice. Blood still clung to his lips, and the crude stitches had torn half open, leaving him trembling and gasping. But his voice, raw and urgent, was crystal clear. "Run! Now." Behind them, the shadows moved, not the flicker of a dying flashlight, not the shifting of the wind. This was deliberate, slow, calculated. Anna didn't wait to see more. She threw Jason's arm over her shoulder, and together they stumbled out of the decrepit asylum, the wet leaves squelching beneath their feet. As they reached the clearing, Anna dared one last glance back. In the shattered doorway stood a silhouette. Not Marcus. Too tall. Too still. And then it tilted its head, just like Jason had done that night outside her window. Her breath caught. Jason whispered through blood and panic. "It followed me back." They didn't stop until they reached Anna's car, hidden off, the road behind the trees. She helped him into the back seat, then peeled out onto the dirt path, tires skidding on gravel. "Talk to me," she begged. "What the hell was that? Who followed you?" Jason lay back, eyes glassy with trauma. His voice was barely audible. That place. It wasn't just Marcus. He found something there. He said it lived in the basement, that it feeds on guilt. Anna's hands clenched the wheel. Feeds on guilt? Jason nodded slowly. It shows you things. Things you thought you'd buried. Things you've tried to forget. He turned to face her, tears slipping silently down his cheeks. And if it finds enough pain to feed on, it takes your shape. Back at her house, Anna helped him into the shower and sat outside the bathroom, trying not to scream. Her head was spinning. Jason wasn't the same. Yes, she'd found him. But what if the man she rescued wasn't fully him anymore? He came out wearing one of her father's old robes. He looked exhausted, shaky, but calmer. He sat beside her on the couch. "I need to tell you everything, from the beginning." 2 months ago, Jason had been investigating a string of disappearances in their area, part of a project for a podcast he was launching. Young women, all with a connection to the same mental hospital that had burned down in the 80s. But the files were sealed. Then Marcus contacted him, offered truth in exchange for silence. Jason took the bait. Marcus gave him access to court-sealed documents, including one that detailed Cameron Holt's death, Anna's former fiancé. He swore he didn't believe the worst at first. But then, he found a photograph, a Polaroid of Cameron and Anna on a dock. Anna's hands on Cameron's shoulders, her face frozen in a moment of rage. It wasn't evidence, but it was enough to crack Jason's trust. "I didn't know what to believe," he said, looking away from her, "so I went to the asylum. I thought I'd find answers. What I found was a door I shouldn't have opened." He swallowed hard. "I was alone. At first it was just whispers. Then I started seeing things. My mom. My dead dog. And then..." He paused, shaking. "I saw you. But not you. You were screaming, bleeding, accusing me. You kept saying, 'Why didn't you save me?'" He buried his face in his hands. "And then Marcus locked me in, left me there for days. Every time I slept, it came closer. It wore your face, my face, Marcus's, but by the end, it didn't need a face anymore." Anna couldn't speak. It was like Jason had brought a piece of that place back with him. That night, she tucked him into the guest bed, locking every door and window. She didn't sleep. At 3:11 a.m., she heard the whistling again. Same tune, not from the woods this time, from inside the kitchen. She crept down the stairs, holding a poker from the fireplace. Every step felt like it echoed into eternity. As she turned the corner, Jason was standing by the sink, eyes empty, humming, blood dripping from his mouth. "Jason," she whispered. He turned slowly and smiled. "Why didn't you let me die?" Anna backed away. Suddenly a shout from upstairs. "Anna, it's still here." She turned back to the kitchen, but it was empty. Jason came running down the stairs, wild-eyed. "It's not me. That thing. It's inside now. We brought it with us." Anna didn't question it. They fled again, this time to a motel 2 towns over. A crappy, mold-stained room with no working heat and a bed that squeaked when you breathed on it. But it was all they could afford. Jason refused to sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he twitched violently. Anna sat beside him, watching. "What does it want?" she asked finally. Jason's eyes were hollow. "It wants to be believed. That's how it survives. That's how it grows." The next day, she got a text from an unknown number. "You were right to run. But you didn't run fast enough." Attached was a photo. Her bedroom. Taken from inside the house, time-stamped 20 minutes ago. She and Jason had been gone for 2 days. Anna dropped the phone. Jason picked it up, stared at the photo, then said something that made her blood go cold. "That's not a threat. That's a warning." That night, Jason began to break down. He was sweating, trembling, muttering things she couldn't understand. His fingers kept twitching toward his own throat, like he wanted to claw something out. Anna tried to calm him. "You're safe. It's not here. You're safe." But then he said, "I remember killing you. Again and again. Every night. That's what it makes me do. And I like it." She slapped him. He blinked. And then he screamed, "It's not me, it's in me. Anna, get out, get out!" She bolted from the room, heart hammering, and locked herself in the motel bathroom. And then the humming, outside the door, followed by scratching, slow, deliberate. Her name, Anna, followed by silence. At dawn, she stepped out. Jason was gone. Just the robe on the floor, bloodied and damp. The mirror had something scratched into it with a fingernail. "I'm not done yet." She drove back to the asylum alone. The police wouldn't help. No one would. This had to end where it began. The place was colder now. Dead silence. She made her way to the basement, the door Jason had spoken of, hidden under rubble. She pried it open and descended into the earth. It smelled like rot and burnt plastic. She found the cell, the chains, and in the center of the room, a single chair. Tied to it was Marcus, or what was left of him. His eyes were gone, his mouth sewn shut, but carved into his chest. Liar. Anna backed away. Then the humming began again. Not behind her, inside her own head, and a voice followed. Soft, gentle. "You never told him the whole truth either." She turned and saw herself, standing in the corner, smiling. Anna stood frozen in the basement, staring at her own face, pale, smiling, not quite hers. The imitation Anna tilted its head slowly, like a curious predator. "You're not real," Anna whispered. The thing stepped forward, barefoot on the cold stone floor. "Neither are the lies you've been living." Behind it, Marcus's body twitched in the chair, or what was left of him. His stitched mouth trembled as though trying to scream through sewn flesh. Anna backed toward the stairs. Her ears rang with the whispering that grew louder the more she denied what the thing was saying. "Jason loved you," the voice echoed. "But you gave him half a story." Anna's heart pounded. "I didn't kill Cameron. He drowned." The smile widened. "He didn't drown. You watched him choke." Her knees buckled. "No," she whispered, clutching the railing. "It was an accident. I tried to save him." The thing stepped closer. "You tried. After you pushed him. 6 years ago. Cameron had cheated. Not once. Not even twice. She had forgiven him again and again. But that final night, they were by the lake. He admitted he'd gotten another girl pregnant, said he'd be leaving town, said Anna needed to accept it and move on. She slapped him. He laughed, and then she shoved him, hard. He slipped on the wet rock, hit his head, and rolled into the lake. He flailed. She stood frozen. He called her name once, and she didn't move. Only when the bubbles stopped did she dive in, drag him to shore, and scream for help. But it was too late. Jason never knew that version. She had said he drowned while swimming alone, that she wasn't there. Jason had loved her for surviving, but she had survived by burying the truth. Back in the basement, the imitation Anna now hovered inches away. "You created me," it whispered, "so only you can destroy me." Anna's jaw trembled. Then tell me how. The creature blinked, and in that moment, it changed. Into Jason. Shaking, crying, hands covered in blood. Say it pleaded. Say what you did. Anna dropped to her knees. Tears streamed freely now, sobs racking her body. The weight of guilt, 6 years heavy, crushed her like stone. I killed him, she said. I killed Cameron, and I lied to everyone. I lied to Jason. I lied to myself. The basement trembled. Somewhere in the dark, chains shattered. Marcus's corpse slumped forward, still bound but lifeless. And the Jason thing began to burn, quietly, from within. A soft light pulsed from its chest like a dying star. Its final words were barely audible. Truth is the only exorcism. Then it vanished, with a sound like paper crumpling in fire. When Anna emerged from the asylum, it was dawn. She collapsed in the clearing outside, lungs heaving. For the first time in years, the air felt breathable. Jason was waiting beside her car. The real Jason. He looked different, as if something had lifted from him too. Dark circles under his eyes, but peace in his face. Is it gone? He asked. Anna nodded. I told it the truth. Jason sat beside her. You didn't have to. I did. Not for you. For me. He looked at her. I need to tell you something too, he said. I saw Cameron. In there. He told me he forgave you before he drowned. He said he was a coward, that he never deserved your loyalty. Anna closed her eyes. Somewhere deep inside, the knots started to untie. 2 months later, the house is sold. Anna moves to the coast, a small town, quiet. Jason visits once a week. Sometimes they talk. Sometimes they sit in silence, watching the waves. They don't try to fix each other. Some things don't need fixing, only witnessing. Anna starts volunteering at a shelter for women fleeing violent relationships. She tells them stories. Not always her own, but always real. And every time she does, the thing that lived in her chest, that guilt-shaped parasite, dies a little more. One evening, Jason hands her a manila envelope. Inside, a photo of the asylum, burnt to the ground. Electrical fire, he says. No survivors reported, but there weren't supposed to be any, right? Anna smiles faintly. Right. But that night, as she walks to bed, she hears it again. Very faint, very soft. A hum. Not from the woods. Not from outside. But from the mirror. She stops, looks, just her reflection. And then, the smile. Not hers. The end.